What up, everybody? Scuff D here, and it's time to do another deck video. Now, you may not know it, but the last, 5 or 6 videos you guys have been watching over the last couple of weeks, I recorded well in advance. I was on a roll, I was flying through, I was doing deck videos, then I got hit with the COVID. It hit me. I dodged a bullet for 2.5 years, and then I got taken down, so trying to get back up on that content train. We got a podcast episode tonight, and hopefully I'm sounding a little bit better. I feel a little bit better every day. By the time you watch this, hopefully I'm even better. So, great. But talking about mutations of viral strains and diseases, let's talk about the Ruin Storm and the Red Angel. I mean, Corvax would be a good one to do, and down the road I'll probably go back to visit a Corvax deck. I did a Corvax deck way back when. But the Red Angel is the new warlord that was added to the Ruin Storm faction. I've had a lot of fun playing the Ruin Storm, playing this Lord of Chaos mission. Fairly straightforward Ruin Storm stuff, but there's a couple things in there that I just like to keep in mind when I'm sharing the idea, sharing the deck video. Maybe inspire you guys, if you're not playing Red Angel, to play Red Angel, because hey, he once was a Blood Angel. He once was Miros. So the idea with his ability, he's got a 1 energy ability, which I like, and it steals 1 health. So he's going to gain 1 health. They'll lose 1 health. In a way, it's the same even exchange as 2 for 2, but you're keeping it lower. But the cool thing is if you give this to a troop, the troop gains Berserk. Now, that doesn't seem a whole lot useful, but in some instances it really is, because then they have to act with that troop. And there are a couple troops that don't have active abilities that that then they've got to use. They've got to throw away. Frontline troop, troop that maybe has got precognition, maybe a troop that they don't have enough energy to use the ability, so now they have to attack with it. Whatever the case is, it's a little useful nudge, but it's also I may be coughing when we get this video, but it's also very nice because what this does is this is just a random steal health, so you can use this on your own troops too, and your troops are probably gonna be attacking anyways. So that's nice to know. It's a handy 1 ping, and if you know what the Ruin Storm have got access to, that there's ways to benefit from that. So let's take a look at a game and then break down the deck video that I've got here, or the deck list, and we'll go from there. So he also comes with this Ragefire card. I kind of forgot to mention the Ragefire. The Ragefire is a 3 energy structure. It's a 1/2. It's got Lord. That's all it is. If it's left unchecked, it deals 1 damage to your opponent's board. Typically, it's not going to be left unchecked. And when they attack it, then they're going to take, whoever attacks it takes 4 damage. So this is basically a 3 energy, 5 damage to usually the enemy warlord. That doesn't mean it'll always be the enemy warlord, but usually it's going to be the enemy warlord. Now in this game here, I've got stuff at 3 energy. I've got a higher 3 energy curve. Good tools like Plague Bearers and Demonettes, Informer Network against the Raven Guard are going to be very handy. And the Ruin Storm is kind of hampered by the fact that they've got this deck construction limitation. They're the only faction that's got it. Logistically so, it makes sense. It's fair. So we're taking some damage here, and he's taking down his sentence, but we've got some. We're gonna eliminate his sentence tool and then go from there. And then kind of even it up. And we've got the ability to kind of recover health as we need to. So I could just, steal this health for free. Why not? Why attack? Right? It's free health. Lose a troop. As opposed to attacking and taking 1. It keeps it closer when you do that. And in the same way that Corvax has got just the relentless heal too. This way you've got a little bit better. It kind of works nicely with the counterattack because it's 1 energy for 2 damage if you get the counterattack. And you're also gaining 1 health. What's not to like there? keep it low on the curve, then you can play your ability a little bit more useful, gain some tools. Always handy to have mutations. It's very nice when they give you a tool that you can just get a mutation off of. We haven't even played the Ragefire. Ragefire in some games you probably play earlier, just because you don't have too many other plays, or you want to force your opponent into attacking it and taking some damage. But basically, this 3 energy will kind of even up the branch between like a Primarch's high health 40 to your 35. However, you could just throw it out there, especially if you get some of these Ruinstorm frontline troops later on, and then you put it out there and it's protected and they have to deal with that. And this one here, making some tough choices for him. Like, I figured he had some Sentence Ping or some Curse of the Raven, so I went smart with that. And then, you know, he's got to play 2 tactics to deal with 1 card, basically. He's taking damage. The mutation mission is not bad. It's really not difficult to do at all. It varies on its level of success and speed depending on the troops that you get out early, but you've got a game like this, it's like, all right, yeah, I don't have a ward, so we'll just go with high health. You're going to have to bounce this back to my hand. If you do, guess what? I can play it and get another rally for mutation. I'm just ticking this down. Totally fine. That's totally acceptable. I can play it again if I so choose. Will I choose so? If I get ward on it, it's pretty... it's not a good thing, you know. He's already used his deliverance. And no ward, but we will take that rage, because with that extra ping, worked before sentencing, that's really going to help us do some damage here. So that 1 ping, even though it did 3 damage, is going to do 2 damage to his board. That's actually going to do 4 damage to his board, which is great. And then that puts this guy here in prime feeding range for my my Red Angel ability. The health goes up. And that's just using your mutations wisely. Sometimes you don't get rage. Oh, he didn't play Deliverance. Did he stealth? That's what he must have done. He must have stealthed. But yeah, so that's the idea with the mutations. Sometimes you get some jank ones. Sometimes all you get is, you know, +1/+1s and terrors or frontline and flank. I had one game the other day where I literally got the same 3 choices like 90% of the time. It was the same 3 choices: terror, frontline, +3-0. And +3-0 was typically what I went with. Was like, how many times do I need to pick frontline? Like, if I pick frontline once, that's it. That's all I need. So Great Unclean One. This is one of those power troops. You always need a power closer. To some degree, you're going to need a power closer. You've got Malign Presence. You've got, which really makes any troop a strong card, but especially when you get like a ward on Great Unclean One, in just about any game, unless they've got a full board, like, you're just going to go to town. Why not? Why not go to town? Get some, you know, every time you kill an enemy troop, your thing heals fully and you get +1/0. Like, what's not to like? And with that alone, I've got enough to just like do the damage to his board, really make it sticky. And just for the strong flex, like, do we play Gate Unleashed? Yeah, we do. Why? Because why not? Like, you don't want to get rid of the one warded demon that there's no way that you could possibly get rid of all this too. You can happily play Shadow Killers here, and it's not going to make a difference whatsoever. That's a high roll, by the way. That's a very nice high roll. The flex is hard. It's so hard. And you've got these rage troops triggering off. Ah, dig it. He played the Shadow Killers. He did it. Doesn't matter, though. Got that mission. Get that delicious mission. Too little, too late. Sorry, buddy. And you can stealth away, and this is where the ability comes in handy, because, yeah, I can't damage him, but I can damage my own little ragey guy and cause the 1 damage that I need. That's it. That's all you need to do. That's all you need to do is get a bunch of mutations on the Great Unclean One. Like, that seems like it's really like stupid advice. Here's the deal. All you have to do is get mutations on anything. Get a lot of mutations on anything and you win. Mutate your demons. Mutate them the crap out. Like, I've got a couple closers here. So here's the deck. Gotta have a mission, because that's what we're doing. We're doing Mission Red Angel. If you're doing Mission Red Angel, everything that can mutate, let's get it in there. Let's put the mutations in there. So we've got Malign Presence, because this late game, as you saw, is just 5 mutations by itself. Not to mention whatever they're bringing to the table, they're also ticking down your mission. Chaos Fury rallies and gains a mutation. Great. And on top of that, it's in stealth, which lets you put mutations on it. That's why I've got Demonettes, because typically they're going to come in and they'll have stealth. So I should be able to get 1 mutation on them or from them with a Plague Bearer following up on the next turn. Path of Blood puts out mutations. If I don't have a mutation in hand, I can use this for a couple turns to gain some mutations. Twisted Horror gains mutations. Elatil benefits from mutations. These guys benefit from mutations greatly, especially like a 5 or 6 energy turn. We can put 3 mutations on them if they're able to get Survivor 2 or +2 health or some additional attack. They can really deal out some damage. Fel Reaver is the one front line I chose in here for the time being, just because I would like to try to have a couple games where I can protect that Rage card, but it's one of those cards that doesn't have to be in here. I do think some front line is necessary to protect your Warlords to some degree. You could go with the lower troop frontline, or you could just rely on mutations giving you frontline. That's totally fine. Demon Chosen, obviously, this is just going to gain multiple mutations. If it hits and it gains ward, you should be good to go. Having a board clear is very nice. I recommend having 1. Just as a reset, it's not bad. It's very handy, especially to deal with multiple troops in play that are stealth or have some sort of form of protection, and you don't have anything out there. It'll buy you a turn, maybe get a reset, or especially like late game, if you've got 8 or 9 energy, you can play Fracture in Time and then play a troop as well. As you saw, I've got Great Unclean One. I've got 2 of those. I've also got Ula, Doom of Heroes. Those are my closer cards. These 3 cards put out the damage. Demon Chosen as a second if it sticks. That's where the heat's coming from. The rest of the cards, everything below 6 energy, is really designed to get mutations to get my mission off. Now, I could put in, and I think in one of my other decks, my Korvax deck especially, I've got the Demon Brutes in here because these rally gain mutations, and then they could just sit there and gain mutations, maybe get a Fel Reaver frontline, basically the same thing for the same cost without the Rage. Without the Relentless, I should say. You could also put in Harbinger of Vermin as a nice 5 cost, which instead of having frontline whenever it gets mutations, healing 2 to your units. This is a really fun card. It's even more fun in Korvax. Korvax with the Harbinger of Vermin and a Great Unclean One and the Poxbringer. Like, you really represent Nurgle. That feels like a whole other video, like I said, coming out some other time. But I had an unrestricted frenzy here because I figured if I had mutations, I would like double down and get a raw juice, but I didn't. I didn't really benefit from this as much when I really just want to get mutations. So I stuck in Path of Blood instead, took out the solo mutation card, the mutate card. It's an option to consider. So there's some tools there. I'm going to go further into a couple of the other cards in there because, like, what you might have seen that I had in here the Priest of Old Faith. This is not a demon card, but it does make my demons cost 1 less. It's very handy for later games, getting out my Great Unclean One, or maybe even a Poxbringer or Demon Chosen for a little bit cheaper. So that's a tool for the cost reduction. I also have got in here End of Days because it lowers the cost of demons in my deck. Draw a demon from my deck. I would like to get Ula or Unclean One cheaper in play if I can. And I found that having at least a couple tools to make that happen is beneficial, especially when those are power closers. And if I can stick a mutate on them, and I've got extra energy to spare with that, that really comes in handy. So how do you go about, that's probably just the best hand. Like, I mean, that's just pretty good. You've got troops that have got some form of protection when your enemy's got a drop pod, they've got survivor, they've got battle honor. That makes it a little bit harder. They got some sort of form like ward, precognition. Makes it harder for you to use your ability. It makes it harder for your troops to kill them and either get further mutations or, keep the board clear so that they're not directly threatened. Now, why he chose to draw 2 cards instead of playing troop here, I think that kind of really hurt him. He could have drawn a card that rallied deal 2 damage troop. Didn't. He's going high, he's going big, so he left this troop completely alone. And that's just a mistake. That's just a mistake. I'm going to give it some extra love, some extra health, because why not? Even if this dies on my next turn, it kills out this 3/6. I've ticked down my mission by 2. And if he attacks it, he has to take 3 to the face. So this card, one card, has done its value. It's done its work. And unfortunately, we've got a big fat Astartes with the Mark of Chaos on it. But we're up on health. We've got the game to do health, and we've also got some very good tools here. Malign Presence with Illatil on 6 energy. That's 3 mutations. It's going to get a +3/+3. All I need is a cleave or a rage to wipe this out. Maybe even wipe this out now. And we're good. And all we've played here, we've only played 3 cards plus the mission. Right? This is card number 3 plus mission. There's the rage. That's awesome. Give me more. Give me another rage. Give me a cleave. Give me something hot. Cleave 2. There you go. That's just gonna make it stronger. And then anything else on top of that, that's just a strong opening play. And yeah, Survivor 2. Sure. Great. Here we go. Let's kick it down. Let's wipe his board out and do 8 damage to the face. 9 damage with the rage. If he's got a hard removal, that's great. Then I can drop Demon Chosen. If he doesn't have a hard removal, I can just Malign Presence again. So, yeah, he doesn't. He's playing it hard, and he's taking extra rage damage. I mean, even if with a quick fire, he still took 3 damage here, 2 damage. Yeah, 3 damage to the face. Cool. Illatil and Malign Presence. Malign Presence in anything. Malign Presence in anything above 4 energy is ridiculous. It's just crazy. Let's give it ward. Why not? Have fun. Steal the health off this troop. Anytime I've got the 1 energy left over and I can just steal as opposed to face bash, do it. They go down health, you go up health. This isn't a hard thing here at all. I got 2 ticks before I get the mission off. I can literally mutate, play mission, and hope for some frontline troops, which is really what I'm going to do. Why wouldn't I? Right? Why wouldn't I? There it is. There's the hottie thottie. And yeah, there's the frontline that I want. I got frontline and I've got ward, and let's just go in. Let's bash it. And then let's throw down that unsealed gate. And anything that he attacks into this warded front line, the bloodthirst or the rage is going to kill everything else. So he has no chance. As Vincent Kennedy McMahon says, he's got no chance. So how about enemies that have got some board wide stuff, right? The sisters should not be. They've got some demon hate. They've got the anathema card. They've got that board wide damage, board wide clearing. They've got a lot of ways to randomly clear or to clear with a sister sacrifice, the coup de grace, or the what was it? Not last stand, defiant stand. I don't know. 2 energy sacrifice a sister to destroy a random troop. So they've got a little ways to deal with my warded troops. But again, we've got tools in hand. We've got Malign Presence, which is nice. We've also got a Plague Bearer. And this right here is basically a free Mark of Chaos that we're going to be gaining. 2 Marks of Chaos with the counterattack. So that alone, without even playing other troops from hand, is very nice to have. And then it becomes a game at that point. It becomes a matter of, okay, how far do we hold out and whittle his cards down? Because once Janisha runs out of troops, once she runs out of support units, then you've got fixed support units that she can't get rid of, units with the Survivor 2. That makes it harder for her, and that gives us more time to play things like Moonlight Presence, maybe even a Rage Fire. This hurt. Sadly, that hurt. I lost some good mutations here. Thankfully, I still had a couple of really solid troops that are really going to put the time in. And now he has to choose. Do you take 4? Do you deal with this troop that can gain more mutations? Like, the health game has closed. We're up on health now at this point. All I need to worry about is what he's got in hand. Does he have board-wide damage, and he's got a flanking troop? Okay, that's a good target to get rid of. Is he going to get rid of that? Yes, he is. Unfortunately, he leaves this puppy here, which is going to give me mutations. I thought, anyways, and then no, he's dead. So I'm like, crap. Well, I still got these guys. Still got the Great Unclean Ones. Right? Let's bait this out. Let's bait this out, because if he goes in with this troop dies. If he goes in with Janisha, the troop will get a buff, but Janisha takes 5 damage. I'm willing to go that route. And then have 1 troop on the board that I can kill and throw down the Great Unclean One and becomes a stronger Great Unclean One. So he went in with the troop, he sacrificed the troop, and then he's going to use Janisha right there to buff his Equitrez. It's a smart play. Because Equitrez can, prolong the game for him. So it's not a bad play. So then I have to start putting down the big boys. This is what the big boys are for. Win those games where you don't have any little small things that have got boosted. Tripping over my tongue there. Then that's what they're for. And yeah, this is okay. This is okay. I don't even need the fracture in time here. We can clear his troop. We can heal up his my Unclean One. We can get rid of his Equitrez at the same time and make my Unclean One even stronger. And then we can throw down the Twisted Horror to really just stick it home. Get rid of one or the other, but you can't get rid of both. Well, he probably could. He could. So he goes here, he jams it in. They're jammed. They're stunned on top of that. But I'm still up by 2 health. I still have got a 5/5 on the board. Right? And I've got the ability to steal health. So I'm up by 2 health. Now I'm going to be up by 3 health. I also have a 5/8. So even if he does it again and jams my demons, I'll lose 1. I'll still have another 5/8 on the board. And at this point, he's just got the losing game. He's already played his 4 flanks that gain the sneak attack. This just becomes a stronger troop. That's a nice rally, though. It's a solid rally. It's just not enough. It's not enough to do the deed. Not enough to do the deed. We'll heal up. We'll take a copy of that because this is a good card to have. I'll steal that. Thank you very much. Rally, deal 2 damage to all enemies. Yes, please. And then we go up for health here. We're not even playing the mission at this point. We're just playing smart, strong Ruinstorm play, drawing out his tools, making him waste his tools to deal with what troops I've got on the board and survive a little bit longer. And at that point, he doesn't have much else to go off of. He knows I've got that rally deal too, plus whatever else I've got. So some options to consider or when you're building a missions Ruinstorm deck. Obviously, mutations are the way, but you need to have demons that either benefit from mutations or can give mutations. If you don't have some of these cards, if you don't have some of the legendaries, then look at the cards that are going to give you mutations or that can help you get mutations. This right here, as an epic, it's stealth. It has a 4 health. This is a pretty good survivability rate to give you mutation every turn after it. You just have to play another demon troop. It's not too bad. As we talked about, you've already got mutations. Plague Ridden helps keep your demons alive. It's a good common. Very nice. If you don't have something like Poxbringer, or you don't have another good option in the 5-got, this is their common option. It's really good. And that could work just as well as Fel Reaver. I have the Priest of Old Faith for the cost reduction. You could play the Warp Rift, but I don't recommend it. I found that Warp Rift was just not effective in this deck. It was too much of not attacking, and you really need to be attacking game mutations as much as possible. Now, because you don't have access to any of the other neutral card pools besides Chaos, then you got to use their damage stuff. Informer Network is handy. Silent Death is okay, not as useful for Red Angel because you should be damaging things. But Seek and Destroy is a good card. Artillery Strike is a very good card. Possibly even a Defensive Satellites. I would consider it, or a Watchers in the Dark just for the extra jam, like having the ability to have a stealth troop that can jam. But really, the majority of your cards that you're going to use that are going to be very useful are going to be those demons with the mutations. There shouldn't be a whole lot of variation there, unless you just don't have access to a couple of the legendaries, in which case, then again, find other ways to get mutations out there, whether that's with rally troops, or whether that's just by putting in 2 copies of Path of Blood, and 2 mutates, and 2 Plague Toads, and a Rot Swarm. Now, those 2 costs and 3 costs are very vulnerable to early game troops or warlords that have got 2 or 3 attack. So you need to have a closer. If you don't have Great Unclean One as your closing troop, then consider Gidijal. Gidijal. I don't know how you pronounce it. This guy, this nasty mutation. He puts mutates in your hand. He's a very strong body. That's always nice to have. You could also put down some bigger front lines and go with the Red Angel's ability down the road and just sit back and drain. Although I feel like that plays too slow. And the mission is really about get those mutations out and then flood the board late game for final superiority, basically. Like, seal it up. Seal the deep. So, despite my lack of energy, I'm getting there. I hope that the Red Angel deck intrigues you, inspires you, gets you thinking a little bit as far as what you could possibly do to bring some Ruined Storm to the table. There are a lot of epics and legendaries in this deck. I'm not going to lie. We've got 2 epics, legendary, 2 legendaries, 4 epics, 2 legendaries, 3 legendaries with the mission. But hopefully I've given you some suggestions as far as cards that you can tweak around. If you don't have War Master's Deceit, then definitely have at least 1 Fracture in Time, maybe some other damage or other way to deal with the troop. And that really comes down to frontline and mutations, or possibly the Bioblade as a defensive tool. But I feel like on the Red Angels, that 6 energy turn is very handy for playing a couple cards and getting mutations out. So I wouldn't recommend it. I would recommend something else. You can play without War Master's Deceit. You don't have to have War Master's Deceit, but it does help. So, that's it for me, guys. Until next time, keep playing Legions. And next time I talk to you, I hope I will be better. We'll talk to you later.